Hi all, hope you all are doing good. So today we are going to learn about atom. What is an atom? Have you heard about this word atom? Might be in your physics class or your chemistry class or a biology class you would have heard about this word atom. So what is an atom? Why it is important for us to learn about atom? It's because the creation whichever you see around you, whichever you can feel, breathe, everything is made up of atoms. So, including your mountains, your sun, your stars, the trees around you, the animals around you, the human beings, including us, human beings, even we are made up of atoms. So, have you ever thought that we are also made up of atoms? Yes, that's true. That is the reason why, by learning about of atoms, you can find new inventions. You can find medicines for diseases. You can invent new machines so that it will help our mankind. Because even the system or the mobile which you are using to watch this video is also made up of atoms. So, what actually is this atom? So, if this is the first time you are hearing about this word atom, no problem. You will know about this atom by the end of this session. At least you'll have an idea what an atom is. So, to understand atom, we have to try to know dissect any of the matter. It could be solid, liquid, or gas. So, if this is your pen, now this is a solid object. Now, if I try to break this pen into small pieces until and unless it comes to a very small piece, so this smallest piece, which no cannot be divided further. I mean, smallest space which cannot be divided further, which carries the properties of this pen. So pen is made up of plastic, so it carries the property of plastic. So this smallest piece or the particle is called an atom. You know the strange fact how this word atom derived. So atom actually derived from one Greek word called atomos, okay, which meant indivisible. So it cannot be divided further into smaller pieces. But later on, they found even the atom can be divided into more smaller pieces, the subatomic particles. They started calling them as that particles, further smaller particles. So, which are protons, neutrons, and electrons. Okay, so these are the three things: protons, neutrons, and electrons. So that's how they found these three parts were available. So protons, neutrons, and electrons. So it derived from this word atomos, which was a Greek word which meant indivisible. So when it was found initially, they thought, okay, this is the smallest particle and we cannot divide it further. So they just started being called as an atom. So even if you see we human beings, if no, we are made into small pieces. We are made up of cells. So how these cells are formed? Even these cells are made of atoms. So when many atoms no keep joining, two, three, four, five, all atoms join and they part, they create something called as matter. So we are all matter, whether living or dead, we are matter. So if we see matter, matter is of four types. One is solid, liquid, gas, and the other one is plasma. So solid is nothing but no, which occupies a space. Also, it has volume. Example, whatever I gave you, the pen, your laptop, your mobile. This thing which is fixed, a shape is having a solid shape, weight, and it occupies a volume. So liquid is nothing but your water which we drink, or in the oceans, whatever water is there, it flows. So its shape is not fixed. So it takes the shape of whichever no solid matter it finds. So it goes inside the glass. It takes the shape of a glass. It goes into an big lake. It takes the shape of a lake. So liquid is something which shape changes. It also has a volume. Also, it occupies space. So that's why it's also a matter. So next here comes your gas. Gas is the air which we breathe. So if you take a balloon like this, so your gas is going inside the balloon and it as much as possible it tries to occupy this balloon. So it also has volume and it also occupies space. So whatever air we are breathing, your oxygen and whatever we are leaving, carbon dioxide, everything is made up of atoms. So that's also a matter, one kind of matter. It's called matter because it has some mass. Also, it occupies space. So that's why it's called matter. The other one is the plasma. So if you see plasma, it is a highly heated gas. When this any kind of gas is no heated to a very high temperature, it loses some of its electrons and it's becomes a free flowing no, protons and electrons kind of stream. So that's why it's called plasma. So whatever is visible in our sky, like our sun, your stars, all these are part of plasma. So now you would have understood what an atom is, what is the importance of an atom. So we will see how small the atom is, the size of an atom. Now we have seen that it's the smallest particle in our matter. This called the building block of matter because without atoms, that is the base. Without is you will not have any matter built, whether it can be solid, liquid, gas, or plasma. Nothing can be formed without atom. So how to imagine the size of this atom? So if you see the size of an atom, it is of the size 10 to the power minus 10. Okay, size is 10 to the power minus 10 meters. That is how small an atom is. So it's unit is angstrom. So it is called angstrom, 10 to the power minus 10 meters. It's equal to 1 Armstrong. So that is how small our atom is. So if you see the structure of an atom, okay, now you will see the structure of an atom. Let me draw it so that you understand how the atom looks. So it consists of two main parts. One is the nucleus, the other one is the electron cloud around it. So the nucleus is the center part of the atom. We'll see the center part of the atom. Okay. So I'm drawing the center part. It consists of protons and neutrons. So no charge for neutrons and protons are positively charged. So a combination of protons and neutrons is what makes a nucleus. So this is the nucleus. Now surrounding it, okay, surrounding this nucleus is empty space. Okay, the space is empty around it, empty space. So around this empty space, your electrons are present. Okay, electron crowds. So electron cloud is present around it. So if you would have noticed, I'm using the word cloud, not electrons, because electrons are present as waves around it. Okay, they are present as wave form, vibrating. For example, you are having a guitar. Okay, in the guitar, when you vibrate the string, what happens? Your string is vibrating like this, like in the form of waves. So these electrons are not present as particles, unlike like protons and neutrons. No, unlike these two, they are present as particles. Okay, but electrons are not present as particles. They are present as waves around this no nucleus. So like in our sky we have clouds, it's not equally spread, right? So they are present here and there. So similarly electrons are also present around this nucleus at various distances in the form of waves. So these are all called the electron clouds. So at any time of matter, the electrons will be present in the form of waves. You will not be able to see them as particles. So that's why these are called as electron clouds. So I'm just putting that dots to see to show you that the electrons are spread around like this. So we cannot predict properly where the position of no electron is. We can only predict whether the electron wave or the clouds are no most probably present. It's not constant. So most probably present. So that is one thing which you should understand. So now we will see around this nucleus. So I'll put the nucleus here. So I'm putting the nucleus. So you have all the protons and neutrons here. Let it be like this. So plus neutrons. Now, based on where the electron clouds are present, the distance at which the electrons are spread from the center. Maybe electron waves are here or here or here. So there is a probability the electron clouds might be present at this distance. We cannot predict the electrons, no, because they are in the form of waves. We cannot predict the exact position like protons and neutrons, but electrons are present in the form of waves. So we can predict where most probably these electron waves are present. So the area which is no closest, these areas where no there is most probable probability of the electron clouds to be present are called as shells. We call them as shells. Okay, shell means does not mean like we are having a ball and hardcore covering or any such thing. It's s- everything around the nucleus is space. In that space, that electron waves are present. So we are finding the most probable places where the electrons can be present. So the area which is nearest to the nucleus, it's called as K shell. Okay. Similarly, after a certain distance, another area is there where most probably the electrons can be present. That is called L shell. Similarly, we have K, L, M, N, etc. These shells are present. So now you have understood K shell, L, M, N, etc. So maximum till now they have found there are 8 shells present as of now. So, or sometimes they can even be called n equal to 1, first shell, second shell, third shell, etc. So we can even tell like that or KLMN shells. So until here you would have understood what is a shell in an atom. So we are studying about this atom and we are trying to understand what is present inside this atom. This is very important because only if you know the structure of atom, you will know why certain atoms behave in a certain way or how they get uh, different charges or electrons from other atoms. So here we have the outermost shell. See, the outermost shell can be the second shell, third shell, fourth shell, because all the atoms will not be having all these 4 or 8 shells. Some atoms will have only one shell, some atoms will have 2 shells, some will have 3 shells, depends, 3 shells, some will have 4 shells. So the electrons present in the outermost shell of that particular atom are called valence electrons. Okay, this is very important. The reason why we have to know about valence electrons because any atom to remain stable, it will require 8 valence electrons in its outermost shell. So 8 valence electrons are required. If it is less than 8 or greater than 8, it's going to be unstable. So your atom will not be unstable and it will start reacting with all other atoms beside it. For example, if you take oxygen, it is very unstable. It no, whenever it comes contact with anything, it either burns or anything happens. That's because oxygen does not have 8 valence electrons in its outermost shell. So always oxygen is present in O2. The two oxygen atoms share electrons and become stable. So this is about the valence electrons. So this will decide whether the atom will react in a certain way with another atom. How your salt is formed, how different compounds are formed, that is done using these atoms. Okay, so now apart from these shells, there are subshells inside this atom. Okay, so let me go to the top. So here what you have seen is shells, the most probable places where the electron waves can be present, the electron clouds. So now the next thing is these shells are further divided into four subshells. The four subshells are SPDF. Okay, so let me write down here SPDF. So this is divided into further each shell. Okay, if I take the first shell, K shell, this is further divided into four subshells S, P, D, F. So now how it is present. So each shell need not have all the four subshells. So depending upon the shell, as it uh, becomes bigger and bigger and goes further away from the nucleus, we will have the uh, subshells increasing. So if you take this first shell, we have only one subshell S. We have only one subshell S, where it is in the form of sphere. Okay, so it is in the form of a sphere, and within this sphere shaped part, the electrons are present, the electron waves. So electron waves will be found in this sphere. So that is called your s orbital. So your s orbital will be spherical in nature in 3D. It's not 2D, in 3D, that's where the electrons will be present. So it can maximum accommodate two electrons. So next comes your subshell L. Okay. So this L path is there. So if you see the L, you will have two subshells S as well as P. So you will have one S, again a spear shaped. Okay. Next you will have close shaped structures like this. See, like this. So these type of uh, areas in the space now will be present. So different energies levels here. See, in different energy levels, you will have this closed shape in 3D X, Y, and Z axis. You will have no three closed shaped structures. So in these three parts, the electrons will be present. So in each closed structure, you will be having two electrons. So you will have totally six electrons. So in S subshell for the second shell, that is L shell, you will have one circle, spear shaped. So these are all the most probable regions where the electrons will be present and they will be they will be present as waves, means vibrating as waves. So now if electron is then, so it will both these electrons will be vibrating as waves in these parts. Now if you see this, everything seems to be overlapping. So you might think, no, how these electrons might clash or merge or something might happen, because these are all present in the form of waves of different frequencies. So even if they all are present in the same location, the overlapping location, there will not be any clash between these electron waves. So they will be rotating, they will be vibrating, not rotating, the word is wrong. They will be vibrating in these parts. So this will be your P, no, subshell. So similarly, we have further the D, F subshells. So these different parts are present, different types of parts. So if you take an analogy, the easiest no, way to make you understand is if you are having a big apartment, okay, and you have a particular floor, this will be your shell. And here we have different types of rooms, 2 BHK, 3 BHK. So different types of rooms. That rooms is your subshells, SPDF. Okay. And your electrons are nothing but the beds, queen bed, king bed, or double bed, single bed inside these different types of apartment. So this is the analogy to understand how these subshells, shells, and the electrons are present in an atom. So hope you would have understood till here how the atom structure looks. So you know how small the atom is. And if we look at this atom, atom, the nucleus part where the protons and the no, neutrons are present. This is, you know, how much times smaller? This is nearly 100,000 times smaller than your whole atom. No, atom is when this mass of this atom is concentrated in protons and neutrons, and all these electrons are waves around it. So that's why this is all an empty space and it does not have much mass. So most of the mass or the weight of the atom comes from this nucleus part where protons and neutrons are present. That is 99.99 percentage of atom's mass or this weight comes from these protons and neutrons. The rest of the electrons are all present as waves in waveforms, which are now vibrating around this atom. So that's why these are called electron clouds, not no electron particles. It behaves as particle when it comes in contact with another atom, but in general, the electrons present in atom are in the form of waves. So here, the area which are closest to the nucleus, that is the K shell, you know, the K shell, this will have the lowest energy and the shells going further away from the nucleus will have the highest energy because they require lot of energy to be around the nucleus to be attracted to the nucleus without going away from the atom. They have to stay close to the nucleus. They require lot of energy because they are at a large distance. So that's why the innermost shell will have the lowest energy and the outermost will have the highest energy. It will be in the increasing order. The energy levels will be increasing as we move further away from the nucleus. So, hope you would have understood till here what an atom is and how it looks, how the atom particles are present in our universe. So, this is the small overview of whatever we had gone through in today's session. Hope you have enjoyed this session. If you like this session, please like, share, and subscribe. I will be coming up with new concepts like this for your better understanding. Thank you all.